कृपणो विषयात्मकाः नष्टप्रज्ञो हृतैश्वर्यो गन्धर्वो यवनैर्बलात्. Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Hari Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, the translation also.
Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When King Puranjana was embraced by Kalakanya, he gradually lost all his beauty. Having been too much addicted to sex, he became very poor in intelligence and also all his opulence. Being bereft of all possessions, he was conquered forcibly by the Gandharva and the Yavanas. Haribol. Thank you, Mataji.
Sudha Mataji, the next verse and the translation, Hare Krishna. And the next one, Sharmila Mataji, verse and translation, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji pranams. Vishirnam swapurim viksha pratipulan anadritan putran pautranughamatyan jayam cha gata sauradam. Translation by Divine Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Puranjana then saw that everything in his town was scattered and that his sons, grandsons, servants and ministers were all gradually opposing him. He also noted that his wife was becoming cold and indifferent. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 8. Atmanam kanyaya grastam panchalanaridushhitan duranta chintam apanno na lebetat pratikriyam. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When King Puranjana saw that all his family members, relatives, followers, servants, secretaries, and everyone else had turned against him, he certainly became very anxious. But he could not counteract the situation because he was thoroughly overwhelmed by Kalakanya. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Verse 9. Kaman labhila shandino yatayamanscha kanyaya vigatatma gati sneha putradaranshcha lalayan. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The objects of enjoyment became stale by the influence of Kalakanya. Due to the continuance of his lusty desires, King Puranjana became very poor in everything. Thus, he did not understand the aim of life. He was still very affectionate towards his wife and children, and he worried about maintaining them. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Rohini Mataji, would you like to do verse 10, translation and verse? Krishnamurti Prabhuji, you can do the verse and the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams Mataji. Gandharva Yavanakrantam Kalakanyopamardhitam Atum Pratakrame Raja Tampuri Manikatamaha. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. The city of King Puranjana was overcome by the Gandharva and Yavana soldiers. And although the king had no desire to leave the city, he was circumstantially forced to do so, for it was smashed by Kalakanya. Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranams Mataji.
Thank you so much, everyone, for the beautiful recitation of the verses and the translation. Can you all hear me properly?
Yes, Mataji, perfectly.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanathimiranthasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine. नमाचार्य पदाय निताय कृपा प्रदायिने गौरकथा धामदाय नगर ग्राम तारिणे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं परमानन्द माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् हरि ओम तत्सत् Hare Krishna. So again, I'd like to thank all of you and especially Narayani Kripamai Mataji for this wonderful opportunity to be in all of your wonderful association. We can stop the screen sharing now. Um, so basically the story of King Puranjana, we must understand that this is an allegorical story. It's an imaginary story that Narada Muni is very mercifully narrating it to King Prachina Barhi. He is narrating this beautiful story of King Puranjana, and King Puranjana representing the body. Yes. So very beautifully, Narad Muni is narrating this entire pastime, just like how it's as if, Narad Muni is showing King Prachina Barhi a movie, and he is put in the, nowadays when we see movies, they put a declaration in the beginning, these characters are fictional, they don't have any connection to reality. So, like that, Narad Muni is telling this beautiful allegorical story of King Puranjana to teach King Prachina Barhi what is the reality of life. He is giving King Prachina Barhi the reality check, so to speak. Very beautiful. Narad Muni is such an expert preacher. It is said that he is the transcendental spaceman who has, out of his mercy, his unlimited mercy towards the living entities, Narad Muni actually has a disciple in every form of life, in every, species of life. Narad Muni actually has a disciple. Starting from the embryo, who is the disciple of Narad Muni who was in an embryo? That's none other than the wonderful
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj.
Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Yeah, yeah,
Prahlad,
Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah, yeah, Prahlad. Yes.
yes. Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj was the one in the embryo. And then even in animal forms, Narad Muni has disciples. Any animals that we can think of?
Gajendra.
Rajendra.
No. Use that.
Dear Mataji.
Huh?
Dear.
Deer. Actually, he has a disciple in every animal form also. But we know the pastime of the snake. Do you know the pastime of the snake who
Yes,
was a
ma'am.
disciple of Narad Muni? And Narad Muni, there was this very, very, how should I say, it was a very poisonous snake, very poisonous snake. So Narad Muni, went to the snake and said, my dear snake, why do you have to spread so much negativity? Why do you have to go and just bite people and put your poison in them? Don't do that. And Narad Muni spoke the language of the snake's parcel tongue. Narad Muni could speak every language, just like Krishna. And so Narad Muni was speaking to the snake, and the snake said, "But that's my nature, Narad Muni. What can I do? I have to bite." So then Narad Muni said, "No, no, no, you don't have to bite. You are biting because you're afraid. You're afraid that the other person will attack you, and out of that fear, you're biting them. Don't bite them anymore." So then Narad Muni convinced him, and he became very much convinced. He became a very, very Shuddha Sattva snake. And he said, "Okay, Narad Muni, from today I promise I will not bite anybody." Narad Muni became very happy, blessed the snake, gave him mantra diksha, and nicely the snake became a wonderful devotee. So Narad Muni, being a transcendental spaceman, he would travel around the entire universe, entire creation. Narad Muni traveling around, meeting different disciples. Then after a few months, he came to see, "Oh, how is my snake disciple doing?" Narad Muni came to see his snake disciple. And he came and he saw that his snake, who was very nice and powerful, always with his hood raised, this snake was, there was so much of, blood on him. There was wounds all over his body. And Narad Muni said, "Oh, my dear Shishya snake, what happened to you? Did you, have some accident or something? What happened?" So the snake said, "Oh, my dear Narad Muni, you told me not to bite anyone, right? So I just became very docile. So even these small children, when they pass by, they throw stones at me, because before I used to bite them, no? So now they're throwing stones at me. They're just, coming and crushing me. They're hitting me. But I don't retaliate. I don't bite them because you told me not to bite them." So Narad Muni felt very compassionate that this snake is so sincere, such a sincere disciple of mine. So Narad Muni was very pleased, but he told the snake that, "My dear snake, my dear disciple, I told you not to bite anyone, but you should raise your hood. You can raise your hood, and then everyone will run away in fear. But if you just, allow yourself to be a doormat, then people will always take advantage of your goodness. So don't let the world take advantage of your goodness." This is the moral of this story. But at the same time, there's also a beautiful learning that how Narad Muni is so compassionate, that he is so merciful, that whatever is needed by his disciples, Narad Muni gives them that kind of philosophy. So in this particular case, in the case of King Prachina Bari, Narad Muni saw that he was so grossly attached to his family life, to his kingdom, to his material worldly possessions. So to bring him out of this, Narad Muni said, the only way that I can, really help this king is by telling him this allegorical story. That will attract his attention. That will captivate his mind. That will change his mind, and he will turn towards Krishna. So that is the quality of the Guru. The Guru knows, just like, Srila Prabhupada very beautifully says, the Guru is like a coach. The coach gives training to the different players, not the same kind of training. The coach will train every player individually based on the strengths of each individual player. What is the strength of the individual player? What is the weakness of the individual player? The coach will give the training accordingly. They'll give tips and how to overcome the weakness, how to use their talents. The coach will give the training based on individual players. But the coach will never come and play the game for the players. The coach will always stand on the sidelines and cheer for the players. That is the role of the spiritual master. The spiritual master knows, the guru knows what each of his disciples need. What is the weakness of each disciple? What is the strength of each of the disciples? To encourage them based on their strengths and to help them, give them the strength to overcome their weakness. Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. Just like how Krishna says that Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. This is exactly what the Guru does also with their disciples. That the Guru preserves all our qualities and carries the qualities that we lack. That is the role of the spiritual master. And Narad Muni over here, we see that how beautifully he is performing his role as the spiritual master, trying to explain to King Prachina Bahishat that how he can overcome his material attachments, all the attachments to his material worldly possessions, by narrating this beautiful pastime and the story of King Puranjana. So we all know, we heard in the previous chapter that how King Puranjana, his city means, explains that the body is affected by the attack of Kalakanya. Kala means time, Kanya means daughter, the daughter of time, which actually means old age. When old age comes, there is no time that you cannot say, oh, no, I want to enjoy some more, no, please wait, not yet time, not yet time, how much ever we say, but still old age will be forced upon us. So similarly, in this way, that how in text 5, Srila Prabhupada is saying that when the city was thus endangered by the soldiers and Kalakanya, King Puranchana, being overly absorbed in affection for his family, was placed in difficulty by the attack of the Yavana Raja and of Kalakanya. So imagine when the body is afflicted by old age, what do we turn to? We turn to so many treatments to cure our wrinkles. We do so many things to, hide our gray hair. We do so many things so that, no, I'm not yet old. I'm not yet old. There's a beautiful joke I remember that my mother used to tell me, to when I was young, uh, when I was a small girl, I would take lot of, time to eat. So my mother would very nicely tell me beautiful stories or sometimes jokes to make me eat. So one day she narrated to me a very beautiful joke. I call it a joke. So she was saying, there were three ladies who were traveling by train. Okay. So, and ladies, they are always very proud to say that, oh, actually, I'm 30 for the past 30 years. I'm still 30. For the past 30 years, I'm still 30. So they never want to reveal their age. So these three kinds of ladies, they were traveling in the train together, and they were quite elderly ladies. And then one of the ladies said, oh, yeah, I know, I look so young. I'm just actually, I'm only 35. So she was reducing her age and saying, and then the other lady said, oh, you're 35? Really? You look like around 55. Okay, but you're 35. But me, I'm only 28. I'm not even 30. I'm just 28. And then there was another lady. She said, oh my God, this lady, she looks 55. She's saying 35. This other lady, she looks 50 and she's telling 28. What should I say? So then this other lady, she said, actually, people tell that, I look very elderly, but actually, what's my age? I'm only 22. I'm not even 25. Just imagine, everyone is really so impressed by my age, and they were just flaunting in this way. So there was one young man who was lying on the top compartment of the train, like the top berth. He was lying down. So he was listening to these three ladies yapping like this and, just lying off their heads. So he got very irritated and agitated. And he just jumped from the top berth. He just jumped down, And as soon as he jumped down, the ladies got shocked. They said, hey, from where did you fall? Where did you fall? He said, I just took birth right now. I just took birth. He was a young man and he's just saying, I just took birth. So,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
So this is something very, that people in material world, they are very, very fearful of old age. very fearful of old age. Nobody wants to be old. Srila Prabhupada says in his lectures, in most of his 80% actually of his lectures, if you listen to, Srila Prabhupada always talks about, how janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. That, how old age is forced upon us. Nobody wants to become old, but old age is forced upon us. No one wants to become diseased, but disease is forced upon us. So, what can we do? Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport that in old age, these, become weak. All the limbs of the bodies, they become weak. And when they are attacked by, especially by different kinds of diseases, the body becomes very weak. And the proprietor of the body, Srila Prabhupada is saying, the proprietor of the body becomes very sad because they are not able to utilize their body in the same way as they were used to, when they were young, when they were able to utilize the body by, working as much as they want, walking, doing different kinds of work. But now they're not able to do that. Similarly in sense gratification. The next verse, text 6 says that how when King Puranjana was embraced by Kalakanya, he gradually lost all his vigor, his, beauty he lost. Why? And having been, because in his youth, he was so attached to, enjoying the bodily pleasures through sex life and everything, he was not able to continue that in his old age. He became very poor in his intelligence. Srila Prabhupada says in, different places, Srila Prabhupada says, those who are engaged in too much of bodily pleasures in this way, when the secretions happen, that reduces the intelligence. The brain gets affected, the intelligence gets affected. The intelligence actually becomes dull, Srila Prabhupada says. But if by brahmacharya, and this is for women and men, it's not that, brahmacharya should be only for men. Brahmacharya is also for women, because when we are following and being chaste as women in the woman body, then that also helps us increase our medha shakti. And that happens with men as well as women. So intelligence becomes sharper. Srila Prabhupada, even up to the last, even up to the last moment, of his deathbed, those of us who've seen the final lesson, Srila Prabhupada departing from this world, we can see how even towards the end, Srila Prabhupada was continuously, giving purports to the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is Medha. How powerful and how potent Srila Prabhupada's intelligence is, so sharp. So Srila Prabhupada's intelligence did not get affected by Kalakanya, by old age or disease. That is a pure devotee. And unlike the story of King Puranjana. So then, next verse, Srila Prabhupada is saying that King Puranjana then saw that everything in his town was scattered, and that his sons, his grandsons, servants, and ministers were all gradually becoming against him. And his wife also was becoming cold and indifferent towards him. So Srila Prabhupada very beautifully explains in the purport that when one becomes an invalid, in a material sense, nobody then respects such a person. They're treated as unwanted entities, unwanted commodity. They're treated like a commodity, not even like a living entity anymore. How we take care of our elders in the family, we should try to think about it. Some of us, we just put our elders in the old age home. Maybe not as devotees, we should never try to do that. Never, I hope nobody is doing that. But, our elders generally in the material world, people don't like to take care of elderly people because they become a burden of responsibility. It's a burden of love. But people nowadays do not have that time to take care of their elders. When we were young, those same elders took care of us. But when we become elderly, capable of taking care of our elders, we just neglect them and put them in the old age home. This is one of the symptoms of Kali Yuga. We all know this pastime of, when Yudhishthir Maharaj, when he became the king, at that time, Bhimasena, he used to be the guardian. He would stand guard on Yudhishthir Maharaj's door. And then anyone who would have any questions and they would want to approach Yudhishthir Maharaj, they would have to go through Bhima. They would have to come and tell Bhima what, what they want to come for and what they want to present to Yudhishthir Maharaj. So one day, Bhima was standing guard. And one citizen, he came running. He said, "Oh, Bhima, Bhima, I have a question. I have a question. I saw something very, very surprising." So then, Bhimasen said, "Oh, what surprising thing you saw?" So then Bhima was told by the citizen that, Bhima, I actually have, lot of nice lush green fields I have. But then I have a fence that protects my crops also. But I saw this morning that my fence, which is made out of wood, that fence is eating up my crops. And Bhima said, "Hey, you what, intoxicated or what? How your fence can eat crops? You're mad." He said, "No, Bhima, no. I saw my fence was eating up my crops. I want, to see what is the reason for this. I want to ask Yudhishthir Maharaj." Bhima said, "Oh, I don't know the reason. You go inside. Go, go, go. I approve. You should go inside and ask Yudhishthir Maharaj what is the reason for this. Go." Bhima approved. This man went inside. Second man came. And second man is coming and saying, "Bhima, Bhima, I saw something very, 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 surprising." Bhim said, "Oh, what did you see?" He said, "I saw that there was one elephant and one man. He took a needle and he started threading the elephant through the eye of the needle. The entire elephant passed through, but the tail got stuck." Team said, "You're mad or what? First of all, threading an elephant went through, but tail got stuck. How can this be?" He said, "Yeah, I'm surprised, Bhima. What happened? What happened?" So then, Bhim said, "Okay, go inside. Ask Yudhishthir Maharaj. I don't know." So then Bhim sent the second man also. Third man came running. He said, "Oh, Bhima, I saw something very, very surprising." He said, "Oh, what? What did you see now?" So then he said, "Oh, I saw that there was, five small pots and there was one big pot. So from the water from the five, from that big pot was able to pour into and fill completely the small pots. They were able to fill up. But when that collective small pots tried to pour the water into the big pot, the water was not spilled. It was not able to fill the big pot. Bhima said, "Hey, I know the answer to this. Whoever was pouring, he made mistake. He dropped all the water. No, 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 correct, no, correct. That's why the big water pot didn't fill." Said, "No, Bhima, no, not even a drop fell. But the water was not filled. Why? Where did the water go, Bhima?" So Bhim said, "Oh, I don't know." "Okay, go inside, ask Yudhishthir." Third person also went inside. Then the fourth person came running. And Bhima said, "Oh, please stop. You're coming and running like this. I know. You saw something surprising also. What is this? Today is a day of surprises. I can't even now bear to hear what you have. You come with me. Let us go in front of Yudhishthir Maharaj. You have something surprising." He said, "Yes, yes, yes." He said, "Come, let's go inside. We'll go and see what Yudhishthir Maharaj says." So then Bhima came with the fourth person. And then the first person had just started talking to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And Yudhishthir Maharaj heard the first person. Yudhishthir Maharaj heard the second person. Yudhishthir Maharaj heard the third person. And then the fourth person. He said, "Oh, what did you see?" Then the fourth person said in front of everyone, he said, Yudhishthir Maharaj, I saw that there was one boy. He took a single strand of thread and he made a loop of that thread. He swung that thread and he put it on a hill, and he just pulled the hill with that rope, and the entire hill came collapsing down. And Bhimasen had his, hand on his head. He said, Ayo, what is this? With one small thin rope, hill came crumbling down. What is this? So what will Yudhishthir Maharaj say? Everyone was, looking, especially Bhima. So to the first person, Yudhishthir Maharaj said that all four of you have experienced the symptoms of Kali Yuga. The first person, what did he see?
The
The
fence,
fence
Mataji,
is eating the
eating the
Crops.
fields.
crops.
Yes. So Yudhishthir Maharaj said in Kali Yuga, Rakshak become Bhakshak. The protector becomes the one who takes advantage, one who exploits the others. So our protectors become the exploiters. This is one of the symptoms of Kali Yuga. What did the second person see?
The tail of the
The
elephant
elephant.
Then
got
the
stuck.
elephant
Yes.
was struck.
Entire elephant passed through, but the tail got stuck. So Yudhishthira Maharaj said, this is also one of the symptoms of Kali Yuga. That in Kali Yuga, the system of justice is all purchased by money. There's nothing called justice. That big criminals, by paying some money and bribing, they will pass through. But the small time thieves, they don't have that much money. They are not able to buy the justice system. They are the ones who will get stuck and get punished unnecessarily. So that is the second symptom of Kali Yuga. What's the third person? What did he see?
Smaller pots were not able to fill the
Smaller
bigger
pots were
pots.
Yes.
not filled.
Yes. So Yudhishthir Maharaj said this is another symptom of Kali Yuga, which means that the elders, our elders, they are, like our parents, our teachers, our gurus, they are able to take care of us so wonderfully. They nurture us. But when it is our time to take care of our parents, to take care of our elders, to take care of our gurus, to take care of our teachers, we are unable to do so. We go and put them in old age homes, or we treat them. Even if they are at home, we ask them to sit in one corner of the house, or don't come in front of my friends. We are embarrassed to give their introduction to our friends. We want to treat them as a commodity. They become a commodity rather than the person who have raised us. We feel embarrassed to introduce them. But that is something very unfortunate in Kali Yuga. So that is one of the symptoms of Kali Yuga. And then the fourth person said, Yudhishthir Maharaj, what about me? And Yudhishthir Maharaj smiled and said, my dear boy, you are the only one who saw the only one good thing that is there in Kali Yuga. He said that in Kali Yuga, anyone who chants the holy names of Krishna, then, when we chant in our beads, the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then the mountain like sins that we have accumulated over millions and millions of births, all of that simply start crumbling down. Like he had seen that a single strand of thread is, pulling down and crumbling an entire mountain. So the mountains of sins are getting washed away. This is the, symptom. Kaler doshe nidhe rajan asti hi eko mahat gunan. That this Kali Yuga is filled with ocean of faults, but there is only one good quality. What is that? Kirtana deva Krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. That simply by Kirtana, Krishna Kirtana, then we are able to go to the supreme abode of Sri Krishna. And here in this particular text of text 7, Srila Prabhupada also talks about a miser. He says, just the materialistic people, especially in this case, the story of King Puranjana, that, he's saying that if we are, Srila Prabhupada is saying that if we don't utilize the facilities that are given to us in this human form of life, we tend to become like Kripana or a miserly person. You know how a miserly person reacts? There was two friends, okay? One day there were two friends, and one of the friends was very, very miserly. The other friend knew that my friend is a miser number one, Kripana number one, he is. But they were very good friends, so they were one day going in the boat, and the boat, suddenly was, there's a lot of, rain clouds and thunderstorms. So the boat started, topsy-turvy, and this man, he was sitting, the miserly man, he was sitting on the corner, on the edge of the boat, and somehow, because the boat was going topsy-turvy, that miserly man fell into the water. So when he fell into the water, everyone started shouting, hey, 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 he fell down, he fell down, he fell down. And everyone was saying, hey, man, give me your hand, give me your hand. We'll save you, we'll pull you in. And that fellow is saying, save me, save me, save me. And these people on the boat, they're saying, yes, yes, we'll save you. Just give us your hand, we'll save you. Give us your hand, give us your hand. And that person is not even listening. He's going on, oh, I'm drowning, save me, save me. So then his friend understood that this fellow is such a miser. He made everyone move. He said, move aside. And then he said, hey, my friend, come, take my hand, take my hand. And then immediately the miser came and caught his hand, and he was pulled out. So then everyone on the boat said, oh my God, we were telling from so long, give us your hand, give us your hand. He didn't listen, only you once came and said, take my hand. And he listened to you. He said, yes, yes, because this friend of mine, I know him very well. No, he is a miser number one. In his dictionary, in his vocabulary, there is no word called give. It does not exist. He cannot give anything. He can only take. So, as you always saying, give me your hand, give me your hand, he can't hear that because it does not exist. Give word does not exist in him. He can only understand take. So, when I told him, take my hand, immediately he understood. You always saying, give me your hand, he was not able to understand. This is how a miserly person is. That, this doesn't even exist in their dictionary, And even in this regard, there's a beautiful story which appears in the Padma Puran. It is the story of Kailash. Many of us may know this pastime or this story. Kailash was a very miserly person. And Narad Muni, he would give his, mercy to very, very special souls like this Kailash. So Kailash was a young married man, newly married. So Narad Muni came to him and said, my dear Kailash, I'm just coming from Vaikuntha and I have a very special offer. Lord Narayan has told me that if I want, whoever I want, I can take them to Godhead. No problem. Just by my recommendation, I will take you to Godhead. Come with me. Come with me to Vaikuntha. You don't have to do anything. I just thought of you that you need this mercy, my dear Kailash. So you come with me. I'll take you to Vaikuntha. So Kailash said, oh, Narad Muni, you're so kind to me. You're so nice. You thought about me amongst all of your thousands and thousands of disciples. You thought about me. I'm so fortunate. But see, Narad Muni, I just got married, no? How can I come now? I just now married. At least let me see the face of my son, and then I'll come, no? I said, okay, no problem. I'll come after some more years. So then after some years, Narad Muni came back, and this boy had grown up nicely. So, young boy, Kailash's son. And Thank you. He had grown up. Narad Muni said, now you saw your son's face. Come with me, Kailash. That offer still stands. I can take you to Vaikuntha with me. Come with me. So then Kailash said, Narad Muni, he's my only son. Only one son I have. Let me just finish my responsibility towards him. Let me get him settled and married. Once I do that, I will definitely come with you. Narad Muni said, okay. Then Narad Muni came back after a few years. His son was married. And Narad Muni said, my dear Kailash, come with me now to Vaikuntha. And then Kailash said, Narad Muni, I got my son married. Now his wife is pregnant also. How can I go with you without seeing the beautiful face of my grandchild? Let me see my grandchild's face and then I will definitely come with you. So he said, okay, I'll come after a few years. So then grandchildren, not only one grandchild, many grandchildren he had. But still, when Narad Muni came back, this time Kailash was not there. He saw Narad Muni came and saw that his son had, become like a grandfather now, and his, sons were all grown up, many children, but Kailash was not seen. So then Narad Muni said, you're Kailash's son. No, where's your father? He said, oh, my father died. A few years ago, he died. And Narad Muni said, oh, Kailash died. I have to look for him in which species of life. God knows which species he's gone to. So let me see where he is. Let me see where he is. And suddenly one dog came barking. Bow, 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 Narad Muni, this is me, Kailash, bow, bow. Look at me, I'm here. So then Narad Muni said, hey, Kailash, you became a dog. He said, yes, Narad Muni, actually, what happened, this son of mine, he's one number useless fellow. I did not train him in a proper way, actually, and my grandchildren, they're very, very naughty. So, they just leave the door, they leave the house open and they go away. So, even when I was leaving my body, I was just thinking, I want to protect this house. I want to protect this house. I want to guard this house. So that's why maybe Krishna very mercifully made me a dog. So I'm there to protect the house, So any thief comes, even though the door is open, I bark and I drive away all the thieves. Nobody is able to come. So I'm very happy. I'm protecting my house even after my death. See, Narad Muni, so nice. Then Narad Muni said, Ayo, Kailash, come with me even now. Even from this dog body, I'm telling you, I'll take you to Vaikuntha. Come with me. Kailash said, no, no, no. See, too much of responsibility I have now, Narad Muni. So irresponsible. I'll come after some time. I'll come. I'll definitely come with you. Narad Muni said, okay. He went again. After a few years, he came back. And then Narad Muni saying, hey, Bhava, Kailash, where are you? Bhava, Kailash, where are you? Narad Muni is searching for that dog. And then the dog is nowhere to be seen. So then Narad Muni called his son, who had become very old now. He said, where's that dog that used to be here? He said, oh, that dog died. A few years ago, dog also died. So then Narad Muni said, Ayo, Kailash, what happened to you now? Which yoni have you gone into now? Which species? So then suddenly one snake came crawling, and he crawled up to Narad Muni's lotus feet and said, Narad Muni, this is Kailash. I'm here. I've become a snake now. Narad Muni said, Ayo, Kailash, what's wrong with you, Lai? Now you become a snake? What happened to you? He said, actually, Narad Muni, what happened is that, when I was, in human body, I forgot that to tell my son that under this tree I have put lot of pot of wealth, big pot of wealth is there. So I have put there, and I forgot to tell it to my son. I was so busy doing other things, I forgot to tell this. So I'm actually, staying guard on this pot of gold, and so no one should take this. I'm keeping it safe for my future generations. So then Narad Muni said, there is something I have to do. So Narad Muni went inside and he brought his sons and the grandchildren out and said, there is a dangerous poisonous snake near that tree. Go and kill it. So the sons and the grandson, everyone came and they started beating the snake, beating Kailash up. And the snake gave up its body, and Narad Muni said, now I won't let you go to any other species. You come with me now to Vaikuntha. And Narad Muni, by his causeless mercy, took Kailash from that snake body. He took Kailash and went to Vaikuntha. So this is a miserly person. You know how much more we need to be attached, that how we just can't think of doing anything else. You know, spiritual life becomes the last priority. But that should not be how things we should be. That's what Srila Prabhupada said, that when one's intelligence is spoiled due to sense gratification, that person remains a miser throughout their life, Srila Prabhupada says. So we must definitely try to avoid this. Then in text 9, Srila Prabhupada is saying that when King Puranjana saw that all his family members, his relatives, his followers, servants, secretaries, everyone else had turned against him, he became very anxious, but he could not counteract the situation because he was thoroughly overwhelmed by Kalakanya. Kalakanya means disease, old age. So when a person, Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport that when a person becomes weak from the attack of old age, the family members and servants do not care for him. He is unable to counteract this and becomes in a very frightful situation. You know, when I was reading this, I was remembering the pastime of King Yayati. All of you must know about this beautiful pastime of Yayati. It appears in the Srimad Bhagavatam, King Yayati. He had, 5 wonderful sons, glorious sons. Yadu being his eldest son, Puru being his youngest son. From Yadu comes the Yadu dynasty. From Puru, King Puru came, Dushyant, and therefore Maharaj Bharat. So glorious, King Yayati's family. He's like the ancestors of the Pandavas and even Krishna. Krishna descended in the Yadava dynasty. So very glorious personality. So King Yayati, we know the pastime, of Sharmishta and Devyani, right? There were these 2 girls. Devyani, she was the daughter of Shukracharya, and Sharmishta was the daughter of the king. But she was a Brahmana, Devyani was a Brahmana, she was a Kshatriya, but they were good friends. And one day, they had, unclothed, they were taking bath. That time Narad Muni came, and Sharmishta, by mistake, she wore the clothes of Devyani, and that offended Devyani, that how dare you take the clothes of a Brahmana, and all that happened. And then, Devyani was, pushed by Sharmishta into a well. And that's when King Yayati came and saw her and rescued her. But Devyani was very angry, at Sharmishta, that how dare she push me like this, and how dare she insult me like this. She complained to her father. And because Yayati had seen her unclothed, so according to the Shastric injunction, she had to marry. Yayati was very happy to marry, Devyani. And then they got married, but then Devyani was, very jealous and not content with, the insult that Sharmishta had put her through. So she complained to her father Shukracharya, and Shukracharya was the guru of Sharmishta's father, the king. So Sharmishta's father got very scared that, oh, Shukracharya should not curse my family. So Shukracharya said, yes, I want your daughter Sharmishta to go with my daughter. When she gets married to Yayati, she should be like serving my daughter as a maid, like that. That was the demand of Devyani. So, Sharmishta had to agree. So, amongst the thousands of maid servants that went with Devyani, Sharmishta was one of them. So then it is explained in the Bhagavatam that how Sharmishta, although not married, to Yayati, King Yayati. She approached King Yayati for a child, and they became intimate, but Devyani found out about it. She again ran away to her father, and that's when Shukracharya cursed Yayati, that you are so sinful, you are so lustful. So I curse you that you will lose all your youth. Your youth will go and you will become an old man. And as soon as he heard that you'll become an old man, this Yayati became very frightful. Exactly what Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. That this anxiousness and lamentation results in frightful situation. So Yayati became very frightful. He begged forgiveness from Shukracharya. He said, please, please give me back my youth. Don't take away my youth. I want to enjoy more. I want to enjoy more. So Shukracharya said, you can exchange your youth, your old age that you have right now. You can exchange it with someone who has youth. If someone is willing to give you their youth, you can get their youth. So Yayati, the old Yayati, he came to his elder son Yadu. He said, please give me your youth, you take my old age. Yadu refused, giving lot of reasons he gave. He said, no, I cannot. He went to all of his sons. Nobody wanted to exchange the youth. Their youth they wanted to give to their father. But when he came to his youngest son, Puru gave a very beautiful thing that, from the father, you have given me life, my father. So I'm ready to give you my life. No problem. And Puru took the old age of Yayati and gave Yayati, his father, his youth. And Yayati, receiving that youth from his own son, he started enjoying. For thousands of years, he enjoyed with Devyani. And he was, but it is explained in the Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam explains that although he was enjoying, he was not at all happy. Not at all happy. He was not, he used to think, if I do this more, I'll become more happy. If I do this more, I'll become. So he went to the heights of material sense enjoyment, but he could not get any kind of satisfaction. Then in the end, he realized that nothing can satisfy me. And, he just, gave his youth back to his son Puru, and he took the old age from King Puru and gave his entire kingdom to King Puru, it is explained. And then he went into seclusion with Devyani, and he actually gave his entire rest of his life to the meditation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and perfected his life and went back home, back to Godhead. So, this is how it is explained. And here in the last verse, we see how Srila Prabhupada, in the end, the last paragraph, Srila Prabhupada said that this Hare Krishna movement is actually giving the human society information about the kingdom of God. That there is God, there is Krishna, and everyone can return back home, back to Godhead, and live in bliss and knowledge. A Krishna conscious person is not afraid of giving up the body because their position is always eternal. A devotee understands this concept. And therefore, the devotee engages in the loving service of the Lord eternally. Therefore, as long as they're living in this body, or if they go to any other body, or even if they go back home, back to Godhead, or even if they go back to any other situation, they're always eternally happy and blissful, because wherever they may be, they are engaged in the loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what a beautiful conclusion Srila Prabhupada is giving to this story of King Puranjana, that how a materialistic person is afraid of giving up their body. The old age frightens them. They do, just like how we saw with the case of King Yayati too, that he became so frightened. But a devotee is not at all frightened. They are not afraid to give up their body. We see how Hansaduta Prabhu, he's so dear to Srila Prabhupada. And when he was ready to give up his body, he actually was in New Vrindavan in West Virginia in the USA. And he would, he had made an appeal. He had made an appeal to the community of devotees. He said that, Prabhus and Matajis, I'm going to be giving up my body. So I request all of you that please come to me to only make me hear Krishna Katha and to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with me, that I have this limited time. So please help me give up my body while remembering Krishna. So in this way, it became such a beautiful environment in New Vrindavan. Srila Radhanath Swami Guru Maharaj explains, is so blissful situation because the way, he had left his body. Similarly, when Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj left his body, how he chose to leave his body amongst the devotees, in such a blissful situation, although he was so much in a physical difficulty. Imagine his leg was severed, it was so difficult for him physically, going through so much of pain and physically challenged, but he was in ecstasy. When he gave up his body, he was smiling because he was not afraid. He was not frightened of the disease that had inflicted him. This is the life of a devotee, that how beautifully they are able to embrace death, because they know that this death is nothing but a stepping stone to a life full of eternity in loving service to Guru and Krishna. So we'll conclude our session here today. So if there's any questions, comments, realizations, or reflections, we can take that now. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranams. Very, very beautiful session. It's an enchanting session for us. Thank you so much, Mataji. We are blessed to get your association.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. Such a beautiful class, Mataji.
Sumangala
So
Mataji has a
inspiring, Mataji.
question. You can ask Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna
you.
Mataji, wonderful class Mataji. Just to see you itself is a blessing Mataji, and I have no words to tell you in gratitude. In Mataji, the last takeaway point for me is that what you said about Hamsadutta Prabhu, and that should be the aim of all of our lives. And we seek all your blessings, Mataji, because we have been hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Such a fortune in this Kali Yuga, Mataji. So
Yes.
many jivas are wandering here and there, and we are so blessed to have these classes, Mataji. And Mataji, one more point is that Mataji, which as a reflection I would like to share. Mataji, we still are in a world like practicing bhakti, and still we are so desperate in bringing our family towards Krishna. And despite all our efforts, Krishna will and Gurus will shower their mercy, Mataji. But we are trying hard for it. And this is a lesson for me, Mataji. Like we should not bother so much.
Mm,
Instead, we should concentrate only on our bhakti sadhana, because no way we can do, because we have to leave it in the hands of the Lord.
yeah.
And then otherwise you share the story, Mataji, which like it became a
Yeah.
dog, it became a serpent, so we'll end up being here only as some insects or lizard or something like that. So that should not happen. And this is what is my takeaway point, Mataji, and I'm very much grateful to you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Mataji, pranams Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams.
Mataji, I am eagerly waiting to ask the question, what is the fate of these devotees? I know the question was so like your kind self has explained without. I never expected that this so answer will come very frequently. So really worth means, so you have alarmed all of us. Ultimately, what Srila Prabhupada has told, be in Krishna conscious forever. So really, Mataji, I am grateful to you, Mataji. So by hearing right from first to last, what your kind self is explaining all these things, the stories and all those things, then what will happen? How it is ends? Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pranam, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji. If no more questions, we'll end the session, Mataji.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
श्रीमती